This is mad, by the way. Like, we really talking to like a pioneers and shit. It's like you casually just saying, "Oh yeah, Sidewinder." You know, it's like, dude, it's fuego. Like you're an institution, bro. It's crazy.
Yeah, well,
carry on. Sorry.
Yeah, we'll go.
Killa Kela podcast. KillaKelaOfficial.com.
THTC, the UK's leading ethical streetwear label. Organically grown and ethically built garments from hemp, organic cotton and other sustainable materials. 2019 is their 20th anniversary year. Join me with THTC as a Killa Kela podcast sponsor celebrating music, social activism, hemp and street culture. THTC, eco-fashion redefined since 1999.
Beatbox created.
Killa Kela.
And we're here to talk about world music and street culture.
Killa Kela podcast.
Well,
So you tell me when we're on.
we're on right about now.
Hello.
Hello. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Killa Kela podcast. A big shout out to our sponsors, Graffiti Kings. And as I say on all of these episodes, like, share, subscribe, do not sleep. I repeat, do not sleep on my repeat. We're having a very chilled one today because a man from out of town is coming down and we got the call, he's coming. I was like, dude, let's bring a legend in. Let's bring a pioneer in the game, man.
When's he due? I'll bet get out of his seat.
Ladies and gentlemen, Zed Bias in the house.
Hello, mate.
How are you, brother?
Good. Yeah, good. Thanks for the invite.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure. I mean, you know, how often do you come down? Not that often. So it's
Not these days, no.
So you wait for the kind of call on the gig front? Is that the main motivation to come down, do you reckon?
It has been recently, yeah, because I've had a lot of work to do up north.
Up north, yeah?
Yeah, where it's not grim.
No,
that's a load of propaganda. It's lovely up there.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah. I love Manchester. That's where I call my home.
That's your home, isn't it?
Yeah.
How long have you been there for?
I've been there 15 years now.
Yeah.
Yeah, 16 years.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Why? What made the shit? What made the jump? Because you're originally Milton Keynes, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. All right. So let's go back to 2002. Yeah. Garage, as we know it, was going a little bit on the slide, and a few of us had started sort of, I don't know, like darker record label imprints. Like I started Sidewinder first, and then Sidestepper around that time. And
this is mad, by the way. Like we really talking to like a pioneers and shit. It's like you casually just saying, "Oh yeah, Sidewinder." You know, it's like, dude, it's fuego. Like you're an institution, bro. It's crazy.
Yeah, well,
carry on. Sorry.
Yeah, we'll stick a pin in Sidewinder. We'll go back there. Yeah. But yeah, respect to the Lambert, by the way. Sidewinder. Yes. So a few of us started up a little break-off group from Garage, if you like, and Sarah Lockhart, Soldier, she'd started a label. She started Ammunition, which distributed all of our stuff, and she started Forward, which was a night we used to have Plastic People, but before that it was...
It was Plastic People. That's when I remember it.
The Velvet Rooms.
Wow.
The Velvet Rooms, yeah. And this was on a Thursday, I think. And Friday was Co-op. So it was, and we both the
names,
nights.
Man, I'm like, wow, fucking nostalgia. Whoa.
Yeah, that was in like 2001, I think. So that was a good thing, right? So 2003, 2002, 2003, I'd been working a lot with Injector under the name Futuristics.
Yes, yeah. This rings bells.
Yeah, we made an album together. It was kind of like our slant on Garage, but we also had a huge love of like jazz funk, broken beat. We were very inspired by the Co-op lads, Bugs in the Attic and all those guys.
Oh my God. They're local, they're down the road, aren't they?
Yeah. Big shouts to Mark Force, Orin, Clyde, I still speak to them now. They're lovely guys.
I'd love to get them in. I'd love to get them in the podcast, bro.
Oh no, I'll swap the numbers and all that, bro. They're lovely. But yeah, Futuristics. We went down the jazzy route. We went down live recording route and all of that. And for that, I needed a space that you could do it. I'd sort of decided that at that point I wasn't going to take Garage much further. I was going to explore different parts of recording. So recording horns, recording strings, vocalists, all kinds of different vocalists. I was lucky enough to have some great vocalists come down, courtesy of EMI Music Publishing at the time.
Oh, so you're publishing, they were bringing people in?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
they tried. I mean, they tried to make it work. I had all sorts of people from Cleveland Watkins to, oh God, all sorts of people.
They were coming up and you were kind of getting on their up, so you were catching like the heat because it was coming directly from the label.
Yeah. I mean, some people didn't want to be there. I mean, I had Amy Winehouse come to the studio one time.
What?
To work for 2 days. And she was lovely.
Yeah.
Like, she wasn't, like, horrible or anything, but she just, as soon as she walked in, she's like, you know what, I'm going to Miami next week to record my album, and this is just, like, killing time for me, so I'm like, okay, all right. So she didn't really want to...
Charming.
Well, yeah, but it wasn't, you know, she was being upfront about it and she was being cool, but she didn't, like, say, right, I want to get off. I actually ended up recording a song that I don't believe ever reached light of day. You know what I mean? Which is,
and she had it. So.
Well, she had it, yeah. It was called... It got lost on a hard drive crash around 2003. It's called Too Much Love, and I swear to you now,
oh my God,
if I could hold a note, I would sing it to you.
Yeah,
because it's stuck in my head that much.
No way.
Yeah,
you must have been gutted when that thing broke.
Yeah, I was, but then I thought I'd not really done anything. It was her guitar and then some just lame, pretty lame drums that I put on there, and I'd recorded her. So for it to come out of me. Even say I'd produced it. It wasn't produced. It was a demo that I'd recorded for her. So anyway, she went off to work with Salam Remy, and the rest is history. Do you know what I mean? And that's cool. Yeah. I must say, it broke my heart when I saw the documentary, though.
Yeah.
Because I pinpointed in the timeline at what point she came to my house, and then where her head was at from the documentary. And that upset me a little bit.
Because you kind of got first-hand experience of being around her where her head was.
Yeah, but she didn't let on to anybody that she was in any kind of distress or trouble or anything like. Do you know what I mean? At that point, she wasn't the BI of Amy Winehouse. She was just a totally normal East End girl.
Yeah. The pre-icon like imagery. She was just that. Her first album was sick as well. Wow.
Yeah, it was blinding. That's the time that I got signed. I got signed by the same person as well, Guy Moot.
Okay, yeah.
And Sarah was working with Guy, so at that point, I was kind of in the mix. But I mean, this was 19 years ago. 2001, 18 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
Flies, doesn't it?
It does.
It's like
it does.
It's a mad
but
one.
anyway, like you asked me one question and I'm avoiding it.
No, we're on it now. Go on.
I'm name dropping and avoiding.
It's all right. Pick them up later. It's all right.
So yeah, we're talking about why I moved to Manchester. It was to get a space to record. Now I had a cellar studio, probably about the same size as this.
So you mean a mansion? Yeah.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I mean, you could see for miles, like just over there at the back of the grounds, just like that.
That's it.
So I did get approached 2003 by a Sefton injector who I did Futuristics with, and he said, "Look, mate, we've got an opportunity to have a massive studio in Manchester. Are you up for it? You'd have to move up." And it took me about a year to get me head in gear to do it, but I did move up. I think February 2014, and we had, like he said, a massive studio. It was 500 square meters, prime real estate, right in the middle of town.
Stop it! Are you still there now?
Right by the old Sankey's.
No way.
No. I mean, it's all been developed right now.
It has, yeah. It's changed a lot, hasn't it?
Yeah. We were there for like 3-4 years. It was called Future Lounge. We started up a label called Future Lounge. We had some tasty broken beat, like new jazz stuff come out, and it was nice. You know, I've recorded loads of albums up there with Sefton, but all good things come to an end. And then I was like, right, here I am. I'm in Manchester. What am I doing? 2005, 6, and that's when I started getting more into the club thing, I suppose.
Wow.
Again.
What? Yeah.
So I had like 3 or 4 years off.
It's like a bug, isn't it? You can't just leave it. You can't leave the club world.
I wasn't a DJ at first, you see.
So it was mostly production.
That was my route in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's right. I think we've talked about this, and we do fall in a very similar sort of bracket. We're the same age roughly, and we kind of are heralded in a similar manner. Me beatboxing and you within the funky breakbeat kind of dubstep era. You pioneered a lot of that.
Unwittingly.
Yeah.
From afar.
I was just going to say, yeah, this is what I was wanted to kind of come to, because I look at my journey and I know what was intuitive and I just did. To some people, it might have just seemed a bit quite calculated and clever, but it's not. You're going on impulse the whole time. You can't suddenly choose to be that person. It kind of chooses you.
Yeah.
But how did you navigate?
Especially back then.
Yeah.
Because of the way information travelled, the way popularity grew back then without social media. It was very much word of mouth. These days, through algorithms and paying a few quid and buying a few followers and this and that, you can wangle your way in there. And you don't have to listen too much to much radio to find, God, how did that become a record?
Yeah, totally.
Do you ever get that?
I get it. I get it with a mixed bunch of, and my feelings in it are mixed as well. I think there's a lot of game playing, but I also think like the record labels do it now as well. They try and undersell the artist to make it seem like that they're naturally, organically doing the artist thing when they're not. They're subsidised. They're getting injected regularly.
Yeah, I don't know if that's good for the artist or not, to be honest.
Yeah, I do think about. I mean, you as a producer, you must have it constantly in your head. You're out there trying to cherry pick some of the coolest, the most upfront, creative and talented artists to collaborate with. It must be quite hard when you're being shown so much that are deemed as potentials, but you're like, well, hold on, they've just got numbers on their Instagram. It doesn't necessarily mean like they're. Some of them can't hold a note. Like, you just don't know.
I can honestly say that Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, go back to MySpace if you want, all of these figures, stats have never ever affected if I'm going to work with someone or not.
It's good. It's a good
Never,
way to
not
think.
once.
You have to think like that. You can't let it be the overall thing that you're. And that's what people do. They focus on that number. Focus on it. And it's useless. It's pointless. You're chasing a tail. Yeah. Isn't it?
Yeah. I think it gives because you can wangle it now, can't you? You can tweak the figures. Yeah. It's always got to be about the music, and for me as well, it's about the type of person you are, because that's like another potential.
Yeah, bro, for real.
Because sometimes, like, if you look at it like, this isn't an audition that we're getting into, so if we try and create together in a studio situation and it doesn't work, we've got to leave room for the opportunity for number 2 session. Do you know what I mean? And if you're not a nice person, you ain't getting number 2. So
it's like being on tour, isn't it? Like, you can be an okay trumpet player or an okay tour manager, but if you're a nice person, you'll be coming again. If you're an amazing tour manager but you're a dick, you ain't seeing through. You're out. Do you know what I mean? It's that sort of thing too, isn't it?
Yeah.
Who's your favourite person that you've kind of created with in that respect, that you're just like, you know what, that was awesome, that was an experience?
Oh God, this is going to sound like a complete cop out now, but I've worked with hundreds of people, and I couldn't pick one out, because the levels that I've gone to with some of these people, I mean, like, it's, we've really, like, we've starved together, we've celebrated together, it's like a family thing now, where I couldn't, like, pick it apart and, like, say, well, yeah, that's my favourite experience. It's just like, I'm just, like, fully invested in the whole thing. Do you know what I mean?
Talk to me. So, getting up to Manchester, right? And then the collaboration studio, that all kind of petered off. What's the process in after that? Because Oh, I'm here now. I'm up north. I'm up north. Like, I'm not even where the scene is in London. Like, and so how am I? Because somehow, like, you're just, or there's always a constant with Zed Bias. It always feels like you do it. It speaks volumes. You could be anywhere in the world, but what was it like trying to adjust in Manchester?
Well, I suppose the first few years, like, was under my own direction of what I wanted to do as a producer, who I wanted to record, but as part of a team. So there was Sefton and there was Jerome, and we were like a production trio, if you like. And I think it was at the point where us three stopped working together that I had to decide then, right, what's Zed Bias saying? Because Zed Bias ain't been around for about 3 years. And there was a point where I couldn't, because Zed was like my nickname as well.
Okay.
And I was telling people at that point, this is how deep it was, I was saying, look, just call me Dave, please.
Because you was kind of over it?
Yeah. I thought that was it. In 2003, I thought, fuck all this.
You and me have done exactly the same fucking thing, bro. Do you think that's like...
Call me Lee and all that.
Yeah. Just don't... Like, it was weird because, like, with Killa Kela, like, it's taken the podcast for me to have a newfound respect for it as someone outside looking in. Do you know what I mean? Not as a third person, but like there was a time where I was just like, yo, I don't get it anymore, and I'm done with it. And I literally was like, I don't even be like, you know, there's a whole generation of friends that only know me as Lee, and they never even see me beatbox. That's how mad it is. I'm really cut the whole thing off for a bit.
That's good though. That's healthy. Yeah.
Was that kind of your bag? You were just like, no, fuck this.
Well, yeah. I mean, the fact that when I was Zed Bias at the height of it, in the garage days and all of that, I didn't really have too much like public eye stuff. I wasn't out there schmoozing and you know, I didn't go that side of it. I always tried to keep in the shadows. Even on the video for Neighbourhood, I was like, the label said, you got to be in it somehow. I said, right, my eyes and my fingers, and that's it. Because I want to be able to go to McDonald's on Saturday or do whatever, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm kind of glad, because all the emphasis went on the word Zed Bias, and they had a 50 grand poster campaign all around London and the south of England. Huge, great big posters with Zed Bias Neighbourhood on.
Amazing.
So, in a way, I think that, you know, that got in, because they were out for a while, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Totally.
They, the name got into the psyche rather than the face.
Yeah.
So
faces change, brands live forever.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's food for thought.
It is, yeah. We were talking before VT, right? We were talking before we went on, and we were saying that there was this time, and you do fall into that, the anonymity of a producer and a DJ. Back there was a time, you know, the Pete Tong era, where it was so faceless. It was almost like they were just like they were godlike. You didn't. There was an ever presence of these superstar DJs that didn't have a face, and you were fortunate enough to have kind of caught the rims of that period, weren't you?
A little bit, yeah. Getting in things like Mix Mag and DJ Mag and stuff like that, yeah. I'd have to then read about all these guys, flip through, and then there'd be little bits and bats about garage and that. But I got to say, like, that I was well received in the first 12 months I was making stuff for someone who had just, it was blatantly just a have a go Charlie, you know, from the bedroom. And I think it was because out of maybe my first 20 tunes, 5 of them were half decent, and different labels wanted different tunes. So I ended up having like 5 mini anthems on solid labels like Locked On and Public Demand, Social Circles, DJs for Life, you know, and all at the same time. So 99.
99. That was when garage was at its fucking peak. Like, I remember going down Soho, going past JD Sport, Foot Locker on Oxford Street, and I swear it was almost like everything was garage and two-step. Yeah. Everything. Yeah. And I was making, you know, DJ Speedy. Do you remember Speedy?
No.
He was like, 1 minute I was talking to him about some rap stuff, and then the following month, I call him up. I don't know what I was calling. I think I was just getting tunes to him, and he was like, "Oh no, I do the garage thing now." It was literally like night and day.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, it just blew.
Yeah. At the time, there was nothing else that sounded anything remotely like it.
At all.
And the way it was delivered and everything.
Yeah.
It's a shame it became a caricature of itself.
As most things do. Don't
Most
they?
things eats itself.
It
Like,
does.
that's just the nature of the beast, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, and being older and that, I understand. I've seen it happen again and again since.
It's so true, isn't it?
Yeah, but if I'd not felt so betrayed at the time, maybe would have put more into it.
Where's that?
And
What's
its
that?
existence.
What's that?
I want
portrayal?
about garage.
Yeah. Do you want? Yeah. So what was
Yeah.
the portrayal? How did you feel about? What was this? What was this turn of events?
I suppose I felt that even though I probably could be perceived as one of the people that took it there, because I was one of about 20 top 20 hits in that period of that year.
You were shelling them out, man.
So Neighbour had got to number 25 or 6, something like that.
Yeah. Big.
It wasn't a massive hit as far as like Artful Dodger standards. Do you know what I mean?
Get you.
But it still sold nearly 100,000 CD singles.
And still, you can play it now, and it's still
Yeah.
banging. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean,
What was it then?
I don't know. Like my opinion is it took too commercial, too much emphasis on getting signed to majors at the time. The money was affecting the music output. It was affecting everything.
Yeah.
And for moments, I would get dazzled by money, because who wouldn't? You
Of
know
course,
what I mean? I'm
yeah.
a bedroom producer for Milton Keynes. Who wants to? Yeah, I've worked my whole life to fucking have money, so why not make some money? So like a couple of the remixes I did were debatable at the time, but I never ever sold out. I gotta say that.
Yeah. You proud of that? Yeah.
Well, it is what it is, isn't it? It's just if I had sold out, which is a fucking shit term. I don't know why I've used it. But it's more for other people to identify with the term.
It is. It's
they'll
a
know
term.
what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
Because I no longer believe that doing something financially gratifying is wrong.
No, not at all.
Artistically,
People just do that shit now, but I know what you mean.
You've just got to still love it for the art and not the money, and the money will come.
Yeah.
There's a lot of successful, great artistic people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For real.
With integrity and money.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, that's that. I would have had that. Do you know what I mean?
But at the time, you were just like...
But that wasn't on the table.
No.
It was like...
It's a different era as well, you know?
You could be part of this garage circus that we've got going on.
Yeah.
And I chose not to be it, really. Not to be part of it. But in that sort of, that breakaway group that I mentioned, and I will mention names now, producers like LB, Jada Flex, Oris J, Steve Gurley.
Jada Flex, man, yeah.
DJs like Youngstar, Martin Lana. Youngstar warmed up for me his first ever show at Forward at not Plastic People, it was the other one. Velvet Rooms. Yeah. And I remember him looking up at me, he's like, "What's this?"
Yeah.
And he played his first tune and it was my tune. He didn't even realise it was my tune. It was on DJ's for Life, Seven Wonders.
Don't, that's cold. That's sick.
I had to remind me of that last year at Outlook. It was funny. I've actually got a picture of it happening as well. Somebody had sent me a picture.
I love that. That's fucking classic.
Yeah.
Being revered, man, the way that you are in the... I mean, I know it's like... Legends are always bounded, and I often don't like saying legend because it kind of puts a full stop on what you're doing now, which is weird. But your legacy and the way people approach you because of all you've achieved, do you think that gets in the way sometimes of what your perception, the perception of you is, and what you're trying to do?
It gets in the way of my own perception of what I am, what I'm trying to do.
Right.
Because that's the only part that I've got any control over, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, it has severely got in the way. after 500 releases, you do tend to, which was the last time around the 500 mark was the last time I had a look. It's probably more than that now.
Wow, damn son.
500 odd different songs, remixes, singles, album tracks, across my 3 names.
Wow, Jesus.
Mad Slinky, Futuristic, Zed Bias, over 20 years.
Wow,
so
that's incredible.
And I actually had to stop and think, what the hell am I trying to say now? What haven't I already said, and what have I already said that I'm trying to say now? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Am I repeating myself? Am I just like, what am I doing? Because it does spin your head out.
Yeah.
I don't really check stats, but Discogs one day I went on it to check about like a royalty situation of a particular track, and you chin it at the floor. Can't believe how many songs. It tells you how many songs.
That is insane. I don't think I've got that many songs to even. You must throw out tune. You don't let them sit around, do you? It seems to me that you're extremely proactive, and you just throw stuff
every
out.
year. There's maybe 1 or 2 albums that I've produced, whether it's under my name or someone else's.
That's incredible.
Even like the quiet years, especially the quiet years, going back to 2003. Between that and 2006, I recorded 6 albums there, and 5 of them never came out. They're still sitting there, and I'm looking at them now, salivating.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Can I ask you something? It's maybe come across as a bit personal, but I think for like people that are upcoming producers, especially, I think it would be really good for them to get an understanding. So like with that many tunes, is there is it sustainable to make a living with that many tunes? I mean, Spotify doesn't help really.
Are you talking about while you're sleeping, like the PRS, PPL sort of thing?
Like, can people, to get to your level, and you doing it so consistently? Is this
I've
the
never
main
had
bread and
another
butter?
job.
Right. So this is the main bread and butter. It's doable.
But my last job was working for my dad on a building site in Germany in '95.
Yeah.
So I think '97 I signed off the dole for the last time ever.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and started producing, started my businesses all from my bedroom in a bedsit in Milton Keynes. And then just, like one peg at a time, just claw my way up, one track at a time.
It really is as clear as that, isn't it? There isn't really a shortcut.
There's no shortcuts. Do you know what? That is one of the things I live by, Lee, is no shortcuts.
No shortcuts.
No
Grind.
pub talk and no shortcuts.
Oh, God, thank you. Yeah, 100%. You actually lose your own motivation if you're talking about something too much, innit? Yeah. After a while, it's like, well, it's cemented in conversation so much that in your brain, it's done. You've really got to throw yourself into it, don't you?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Because there is a lot of good points and bad points about the internet and getting your tunes out so quickly. But often I think, and I feel for up-and-coming artists, because there really isn't enough money in those formative years of trying to get, claw your way in, is there? It's quite hard.
I couldn't have done it without DJing, even from back in the day. That's been a huge percentage of the income. The percentage of the revenue streams has been, DJing's a huge chunk of it. And I think to this day I probably still wouldn't be bothered about it if I'd not fallen in love with it deeply over the years. I was going to jack it in a few years ago. I was quite public about it as well.
I remember this,
Yeah, and set up a band with 2 of my very good friends, Klaus Fuss and DJ Close One. And we had...
Big up Close One as well. Hold tight, Total
Hold
Don,
Tight.
man. He used to come to my Spit Kingdom nights back in the day.
Yeah, he's a sicko. I spoke to him earlier.
Yeah, tell him I
big
say
up.
hello. Yeah,
Yes,
big up
Rory.
close one, yeah.
And Teddy Bones as well. Teddy Bones is his younger brother, protege.
shit.
He's an amazing Graham DJ. Really good.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm going to be making a few tunes with Teddy Bones,
Wicked.
Rory's young brother.
Yeah.
I set up this band,
Mm.
and the premise was I'd be in the middle with a mixing desk, a couple of synths and a drum machine, and it would be CV gate and MIDI, and all on a 1-bar loop that is constantly changing. And it's improv sort of thing. I'm constantly on the fly changing the drum loop.
Wow.
But the guys are introducing things from my album that I had out on Swamp 81, and Loafer's label.
Right.
So I had an album called Boss, and 10 tracks on there we sort of deconstructed, put them through like samplers, and then Klaus was triggering the samples. The acapellas were put through Serato, and then Close was mixing the acapellas in.
Stop it, that's sick.
It was, do you know what? The first one was Ministry of Sound, and I loved it. And we played another one for Red Bull in Manchester, and that was sick. To a home crowd, it was like 900 people as well. And it was it was really good. But it was not sustainable, and it dynamically couldn't deliver what I still needed to deliver when I'm out DJing.
You felt restricted a little bit with the...
Just completely restricted, and there's no way out of a bad situation. Like, rewinds hide a multitude of sins.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And MCs, and there's no hiding behind like a CV gate or a MIDI dropout, or just like someone's trod on a cable, or.
Oh man!
Do you know what I mean? It's like, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like that, it's a different thing. I wasn't prepared for it, and once I knew that it wasn't sustainable, I'm like, well, fuck it then. The show must go on.
Yeah. Jump back into the DJ.
Yeah. And luckily there hasn't been any real resistance. I think there's a bit of chuckling and a bit of like Zed Bias is back sort of thing. Short retirement, whatever. Okay, but what else am I going to do? Play golf.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Even now, I mean, that was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
I was 40.
So. That shit gets boring quick. Like the idea of just stopping, letting what happened happen. But then after a while, it's like, actually, can we just go? I'm just going to do it again.
Well, people misconstrued retirement for stopping DJing to do a live thing. I never actually said I was going to retire, because that's stupid. That means I'm not making music no more.
Yeah. So, what would you do if you did? What would be your income? What would you do?
I won't be breathing.
Yeah. It's just
No, literally, like, I need to make music more than most things. For my own mental welfare, this is like it's got me through some tough times making music. Just the actual act of making music, being able to sit in that space and create without any sort of constrictive thoughts or anything outside that room going on. It's just been like a little, what do you call it? What are those tanks that you lie in the water?
Yeah, I know. I can't remember what it's called. I know what you mean.
My version of that. Do you know what I mean?
Level of Zen. It's like that kind of.
It was just over my life. It's been something that I just love to do as a practice, and maybe that's why musically it goes from like right over there to right over there, because what I'm making at the time has no bearing on anything. It's literally how I'm feeling in that moment, or who I'm walking through the door with. And if I'm walking through the door with someone else, it's got more to do with them than it has to do with me.
Yeah.
Like, do you think if you come in the studio with me, we're going to walk out having made a garage track?
No,
bruv.
No. What's your batting average on a tune? Like, at what point are you like, well, is it 1 in every 5 tunes you do? One's a banger. Is that?
This episode continues over on your favourite podcast platform. Don't forget to subscribe to us.